Hey, Wamburg World Entertainment, and more details have emerged regarding the Supergirl test screenings, which, yes, did actually happen. And there's supposedly a voice cameo. Now, who that cameo could be? Who do you think it is? No, it's not Superman. And no, it's not anyone you'd think it would be. But we're going to have a look at this now. Obviously, there'll be potential spoilers in this, but it's pretty much the majority of what we've heard before just getting backed up. The only kind of possible spoiler is this voice character. So let's jump into this. I'll warn you when we get to that part. But it says a test screening for Supergirl was held this week, and several insiders have shared mostly positive reports. We now have some more details, including word on a certain actor lending their voice to a mysterious character. So this is where we start getting to the possible spoiler, but I'll get to that once we reach it. So on tonight's episode of The Hot Mic, Jeff Snyder revealed that his source told him about the next DCU movie. A lot of the details are very similar to what we've heard from previous reports. You know, Millie Alcock is great. Action sequences are fine. The villain is underwhelming. That's the first we've heard that the action sequences are fine. So it sounds like they're a little underwhelming. But Snyder adds that there will be communication issues between Kara Zor-El and Superman because she will be speaking Kryptonian. So why exactly she's going to be speaking Kryptonian to him, I don't know. Now, this part is a bit weird, but it says we don't have any more context, but this may suggest that they will appear together in some kind of flashback, or that the Man of Steel will speak to his cousin from Earth and won't join her in outer space for his cameo appearance. Why it would be a flashback and stuff, we don't know. We do know that Corn Sweat as Superman is in this movie, like for a cameo. I believe it is meant to be the opening of the movie, so whether it expands on when she comes to get crypto or something, don't know. But that was meant to be how it was, unless they changed it. They may very well have changed it, but it was meant to be that she goes to get crypto. And of course, we know she gets crypto at the end of Superman, so whether it's just that scene, but from her point of view, I don't know. Now, this is the spoiler, or at least potential spoiler, for the voice cameo. Now, quite frankly, it's not that much of a spoiler. And I think yous are probably going to go, oh no, really? They're doing a voice in this thing? Have you guessed who it is yet? Probably not so. If you want to know, stick around because we're about to dive into it. Otherwise, cheers and catch you in the next one. But here it is. Snyder also heard that Seth Rogen will have a voice cameo. Now, here's where things get interesting. So it says, we have no idea which character Rogen will play, but there's some speculation that he will lend his voice to Crypto. Kara Super Pooch didn't speak in James Gunn's Superman, but we know that planets with a red sun strip Kara of her powers. Is it possible that Crypto's physiology could also be altered? We can't really see this being the case. Crypto doesn't speak in the Woman of Tomorrow comic, and we'd say Rogen is more likely to voice one of the many aliens that will feature in the movie. And then there was an update. Snyder has now confirmed that Rogen will not voice Crypto. So that's the confirmation that he's not going to be doing Crypto's voice. Could you imagine Seth Rogen being the voice of Crypto? It would also make no sense that Crypto all of a sudden starts speaking when he didn't speak in Superman. And it would be like, well, why would he speak now? It would be stupid, and surely Superman would have known that, hey, if he goes to a different planet, he can speak. It's weird. And the dog's so, like, ridiculous that why would it speak? It would be stupid. This seems to be an updated version of the synopsis for the movie that's dropped now as well, that it says, when an unexpected and ruthless enemy threatens, Kara Zor-El is forced, against her will, to team up with an unlikely companion Together, they embark on an epic cosmic journey where revenge and justice are at stake, and where Kara must confront her origins to find her own path as a hero. And then it just gives who Millie Alcock is joined by in the movie. How is revenge at stake? That's such a weird thing. So it just kind of says everything now about who's working on the movie and all that crap. And yeah, it has Peter Safran and James Gunn are producing the film for DC Studios, which is funny because it is the most James Gunn looking movie that James Gunn hadn't written or directed, which is funny as well. Seth Rogen being a voice cameo, okay, yeah, it'll probably be some stupid like robot or something that's at the bar or something. I wouldn't be surprised. It'll definitely probably won't be Crypto, and as they're saying here, it does seem that Crypto won't be speaking in this movie either. The idea that revenge is at stake, I hate this. I hate the idea that it's a revenge story and stuff. It's so stupid. And of course, they are going with a comic book that came out in 2022, as opposed to something that came out since her debut in the 50s. You know, you've had all that source material and you went for the brand newest and most hated version of this character. Weird. But it is interesting to hear now that the action sequences are fine. Now, they could have it down to it's fine simply because they aren't finished. And, you know, the special effects aren't fully rendered and all that type of stuff. Which is always strange as well when you look at a trailer that has everything seemingly in there. But then when they get these test screenings, the visual effects aren't finished and stuff like that. So it's very much, it could have been that the visual effects and stuff weren't fixed or even fully there when they had this test screening. Because of course, this is also to get the feedback so they know what to go back and work on more. So the villain being underwhelming, that does seem to be starting to become an issue for DC with James Gunn, especially, is that they are starting to kind of do the Marvel thing of using the most nonsensical villains. And it's kind of like, okay, so like, who the hell is going to care about someone called Creme of the Yellow Hills? Like, even just saying that out loud is like, what? You know what I mean? So it's no surprise that this character is going to be underwhelming. Like, there's one shot of him in the trailer and you don't even realize that that's who it is. You're looking at the villain. But again, Millie Alcock does seem to be getting high praise for her performance, which makes sense. She's a good actress. We all do like her being cast as Supergirl. It's just the version of Supergirl they're making her is the problem. But we'll have to wait and see. I'm sure more details will come out. And of course, with test screenings, what do we always end up getting? Yeah, the full plot leak. So we'll stand by and wait to hear that, because that could be truly make or break what we hear about what the actual movie is fully about. But what do you guys think? Are you surprised to hear Seth Rogen may be doing a voice cameo in this thing? Not as Crypto, thank God. What do you think about the action sequences being now described as fine as opposed to great and stuff? And do you think this movie could actually win us all over? Let us know. And with that, I shall leave it there for this one. So do like, share, subscribe and all that good stuff. Cheers, and I'll catch you in the next one.